everyone, Nevil here with my recap of my contact boy class called Close Encounters of the Contact Kind from June Wildfire 2013. This class was really just a big, giant contact boy geek session. There really wasn't much structure to it, but there was a lot of really cool stuff that we went over. So I'm going to see if I can remember and go through everything. So one of the big things that we really went through and discussed was using the cradle as an exit or an entry through different roles. As such, with the forearm as an entry, as well as an exit. Now, using it as an entry, we're going to use where the hand meets the wrist is going to be right where the elbow is, so you can kind of almost like you're tutting, you know, if anyone does tutting. And by making sure that just with that one placement right there, when you tilt your wrist back, the ball is already ready for the forearm. And then just working on being able to catch it with the cradle of that other hand. And you can continuously do this back and forth. And the same goes for using it as an exit or catching it from this roll. You can have the roll go all the way down the elbow and catch it. Or if that's a little tricky at first, you might be able to kind of cut a little corner on the end and have the roll come off a little bit sooner, and then build up to doing straight from the elbow. We also touch base on some different ball and hand things, which utilize this, where you're pretty much like doing a float and just catching that head boy, and how from your together opposite pendulums you can do a lot of different kind of variations of different tosses, horizontal, isolated throws, combinations, and such. There's also the 1.5, catch and you toss back. Or from here, you can switch, which is which. You kind of have to get used to just one at a time if need be. And so you can link those two together as such. Or you can do a walk where you're continuously traveling in one direction by tossing them, switching hands if done correctly, and then continuing. Toss, switch hands, continue. We also went over what I'm just calling an elbow pinch. There isn't much terminology for contact, where you are doing an inner forearm roll, and as the tether comes up to your hand, your arm just follows back with it, and you kind of end up grabbing the tether, and the ball is kind of pinched in your elbow or just overhanging a little bit, and you just gently flick it down and catch the ball again. There's the method of actually grabbing the tether, or you can do like the super ninja thing and just kind of keep your hand flat, and it's similar to like a wibble, where you just feel it and then push it back once the momentum is gone. So we discussed how you can do that in a together opposite direction on your wall plane, like such, reverting back in a split time same direction, which is like a chase. And this ends up being a continuous motion where from the elbow pinch, you throw the handle back down, and then the tether is moving this direction, wrapping under your forearm or under your bicep, will revert. So you can basically do these continuous motions like such. That's a really good exercise for trying to build that up as well. discussed the forearm fold, which is taking an inner forearm roll and folding the arm. The key to that, Jack Burner also has a video on this. Thank you, Jack, for teaching me. It's where normally you would have your full arm extended, but in this case you want your arm with a little bit of a bend to it, maintaining that horizontal position. Once the ball reaches the elbow, your hand is going to follow the tether over, and we're going to work the ball back down into a cradle position, or into just letting it roll off the fingers, like such. I'm going to try and do it a little bit more smoothly, as such. We went over different little cool tosses that inspired me from Japanese spinners, such as having the ball go around the non-native shoulder, resting on the native shoulder, pushing the tether out, and you're going to kind of do this little matrix thing, catch it behind your back, like so. Again. You can also do the same thing, only instead of the ball coming around all the way, it will come rest in your spine. Pull the tether out, you should be able to catch it on the far side out. So again, like such. With practice, becomes perfect. In that same location, around the non-native, ball resting in this little pocket that your collarbone and your shoulder muscle, or whatever muscle that is, makes, you can do a roll down your arm, if done right, as well. And we also went over catching rolls on your shoulder out to the arm, which is such from a waist wrap, where you have the ball coming up in between your arm. It's going to go over your chest, because when you're doing like a waist wrap, you're already back, and it's going to be lined up with your arm perfectly into catching into a roll, like so. One more try. Like such. You can also do that same thing, only instead of going behind and over the chest, you can go over the head, throw them down below. It's kind of a blind toss, blind catch. Like such. And I believe that's really all that we covered in that class. There was some negative space work, utilizing this negative space, where you can have it resting on your native side, pick your non-native up and through the center, and pulling it over the top, and then you're back out. Same from the other way. And if you end up in pendulums on the bottom, you can revert it back the other way, and you can make a continuous pattern out of it, courtesy of Grant Baker, for my knowledge on this. Like so. So I hope that helps everyone in finding further ideas and possibilities with Contact Boy. And until next year, have a great time. Enjoy the film.